Hi, if you're new around here, I'm Max and this is Rose. She's a Mercedes-Benz 310D Luton van, and I have spent the last 8 months restoring her to get her back on the road after 5 years, and now it's time to convert the back of her into my dream full-time home. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button to come along for the ride.
Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. Now this is going to be a hectic start to the video. As you can hear, Rose is running in the background. Today is box putting on day, as I'm sure you knew from the title of the video. Half my stuff's got to go in the studio, clean stuff like my bed and bedding and clothes, and then all the mucky stuff like the burner and some tools will go in the shed. So that's today's task. It's exciting. So one thing I haven't shown you that I kind of did in between is we've painted, my mum painted it green inside there. It needs a second coat, but first coat and it looks so much better, even just with the one coat on aluminium as well. With all the lights at the top, it's just looking so much smarter. Soon this silver box will be gone and I can have a short ladder again. Hopefully take it for a drive this evening and everything should be good to go. Lenny's over there out the way. And yeah, we got to reverse the van in here. We're going to put these rusty metal ramps down to create like a gradual slope for the van to come down into. So lots to do, lots to concentrate. Got to clear all this, got to empty the box. I'm halfway through doing. That's what all this crap is out here. It's all got to go, as I said, in the shed or the studio. And in here it's pretty dark now. The fiberglass roof is non-existent. As you can see, insulated. And yeah, now taking everything out. The fridge will have to go in the shed. Clothes, as I said, will go in the studio. Yeah, so let's gut this and then I'll set you up on a time lapse when the van reverses under. So I got the high lift jack from my neighbour this time because my friend is in Wales. So over here, there it is. Slightly different design but same principle, you know, holes and it goes up and down and a little lever so they can go 2 different ways. So very exciting, looking forward to using that. First time I'll probably use one because my friend did all the other stuff, but we're going to have all hands on deck, so let's go. Hello everyone, I'm not sure why the picture quality is so bad. I think it's because it's dark and I didn't realise. Right, I wanted to leave by 8 but it's currently 20 past 8, so I'm kind of, you know, rushing. But hey, I'll show you the outside of the van, but I'm sure you saw it pull out. I left the camera then rolling, so then my camera was dead, so I just ran and got a battery. Oh, But I want to show you a cool camera mount when we get back as well, because I want to explain it. But yeah, first trip out in the van last night, went to the roundabout about 5 miles away and then back, so a 10-mile round trip. Also the tracker I installed, didn't realise, I thought you had to pay the next version up, but on the basic version you can see where you've been, but only the past 3 months, and that's what you upgrade for, so you can see it for longer. Well, I don't need to see it for longer than 3 months. I don't need to see it for longer than 24 hours. I just want to see what I've been. So last night it was a 9.9 mile trip, and it was 33 minutes long and a high speed of 44 miles an hour. We went down a hill, same route I went to the MOT, and when it was just the chassis cab, I went 55, maybe just over 55, nearly 60 once. But obviously when there's the bends in the roads and you've got a big box on, you can't. Had troubles lining the box up, so as we lowered it down, obviously it's been on a slope facing, so there's where it used to be, next to the caravan. I'm on the drive, I slept here last night, because it's on a slope slightly down that way towards the canal. I think as we lowered it down, kind of just the weight of the box kind of shimmied it that way, and by the time it was down, we were over like the whole chassis. So the box chassis was there, and then the van chassis was over. So we had to line it all up by pushing the high lift jack at a slight angle, and then I had to get under with the crowbar and lift the weight off the opposing side, because we only have one high lift jack, and then let it slide down the crowbar and onto the brackets where it should be. And then whenever a hole lined up, I stuck a bolt through so it couldn't move too much, and eventually we got them all in. But that was quite interesting. That's the bit I was dreading, but then we found that technique and it worked really well. So if anyone else needs to line up holes on a box, high lift jack on one side, crowbar. Yeah, so Maiden Voyage already done technically, going into town for the first time. And then this weekend, obviously, I'm going to go, hopefully tonight I'll spend a night out, but then this weekend I'm going to spend New Year's up, hopefully in the Peaks with some friends. It was going to be Leicester, which I would have preferred because it's only an hour away, but it's going to be the Peaks, so it's 2 hours away, so I'm probably going to stop off at Leicester first, and then go to the Peaks. Anyway, van's been warming up for ages now, because I thought I wasn't going to be that long, but never mind. Too warm's better than too cold. Yeah, so let's crack on. I'll put you on the camera mount and we'll see how that works. Okay, so I'm just going to film like this again for today. Well, so obviously I got that wall done. Need to tape it all up. I taped around the bed today, but the tape, as you can see, doesn't, this one I never stuck up, but that, as you can see, it just comes down in some places. So it's a bit of a pain in the arse, but if it kind of sticks them together, then that'll do for me. What I'm doing right now is I've got to cut this hole out that's in the floor. So I'm gonna ignore the fact that there's a join here. I'm just gonna cut across to about that batten behind the diesel heater, to about there. I think the damp is condensation building up between, because I've sealed the back off now, and yeah, so I think it's condensation building up between the two layers because it's twin walled, and then dripping down, and they're both on this aluminium edge, so then the water comes out from the bottom of the fiberglass wall and seeps into the plywood. Not really sure what to do at the moment. Maybe one day I'll drill holes in the bottom, but it could allow water in as well. But that might let water out. But I also want to see where the box sits. I don't know whether it will end up being lower down at the front or lower down at the back. At the moment, we're lower down at the front and the back's still up in the air. So we'll see what it's like. I'm not doing anything depending on, water drainage, because I don't know where it's going to go eventually. So what I'm doing now, yeah, just got to cut this out before I do the subfloor, because subfloor's going to go on top. And then the subfloor is going to have legs that just go straight down to the ply floor. Ideally, if I had the insulation, but I've run out of insulation, I'd insulate the floor first and then build the subfloor, but I've run out of insulation, as I just said. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to build the subfloor from here, go up, and then come across, and then leave the floor empty. Enough about that.
I'm going to crack on and build the subfloor. As I say, I'm really not filming much, but I would like to show you the brackets, so I'm going to do that now. Under here, this is a lovely new light casing, all covered in mud already, so... but if you look, I've put spacers in places. Overall, the chassis is still looking very smart, albeit a bit muddy. Come next summer, I am going to wax oil or Denitrol, or there's this stuff called Lanagard. I'm probably actually going to use Lanagard, and I'm going to do the whole chassis in a wax oily stuff. But for now, it's just had fresh paint. It should be okay for this winter. Yeah, the bolts on the box, some needed spacers. They weren't exactly where they were because I looked at some pictures, but at the end of the day, we just put it where we thought needed, and well, it's bolted on and it's been 50 miles an hour, so it should be all right. Big 2.5mm washers, M10 bolt, nylock nut on the bottom, and some thread spare, so you know, if it ever came loose, it's not going to come straight off. Yeah, here's the wiring that I need to hook up the rear lights with, and that is kind of, if this box were on an MOT, that would be an MOT requirement to have high level markers because it's over 2 meters wide. So I need to get that done really before I go away. And anything else I need to show you? Not really. All the patches have held up well. Nothing's really rusting back through. There is one or two, I mean the leaf springs have, but I can't paint in between them, so that's where the rust is coming from in between the leaves. There's a couple of spots I'd like to touch up that have gone a bit rusty, like where I worked on with the Dremel at the last minute. There's a couple of rust sparks gone around there, but overall I'm well happy with it. It's nowhere near the bump stops. Now I've taken out those plates, let me show you that. Nowhere near the bump stops. As you can see, lots of space in between the axle and the bump stop, so that's going to stay like that probably for this winter. As I say, maybe I'll get Land Rover ones eventually because they're a bit smaller, but maybe I won't. Maybe these will work fine. Another thing I need to do is pin this diesel heater exhaust up to here. This is for the marker lights, side markers, which I may get wired up as well if I get time, but that's not priority because it's under 6 meters long. Currently I've got the diesel tank inside, so it just loops out and loops back in, just so I can now drive with the diesel heater and not have to disconnect it every time. The wheel arches are holding up amazingly. I don't think I really need to screw them in up here. And then this is where the rotten floor is. Up here you can see my cables and getting it livable. So very, very hectic, and I just need to crack on. So again, there's not going to be much filming, but yeah, I did film that drive into town yesterday, and that was quite eventful. And well, apart from all the misty footage at the beginning because the camera was all condensated, it's dried out now. It's nice and dry in the cab as well, because every morning you woke up it was damp inside the cab. Whereas now it's had its proper 2-hour dry out, and I had the window open ajar and had to turn the heaters down. It was that warm. It's properly dried out in there now, and I'm not getting any condensation, which is great. Yeah, so I'm going to crack on and leave you to it, and I'll catch you guys when I'm done, ready to leave, and then I'll end this video here, and I might film a little bit at New Year's just because it's a maiden voyage. But if not, then I'll see you guys next week when I'm doing the electrics or something like that. So catch you guys later. Hello everyone, so I'll put this clip into the next video, and I would have said, but yeah, I didn't make a video, one because my laptop's broken so I can't edit it, two, I don't have much power to charge a laptop even if I like borrowed my dad's, and three, I forgot the camera batteries. I was just like, it's not meant to be. But I thought I'd give you a little, I'll insert this into the next video, whatever that might be, and just show you this park up, which is my first park up away from my local spots, my first you know, unseen park up in the van. And she's doing well, she's just warming up. We're just about to go off to the Peak District for New Year's. There she is, beast. That puddle is deep. I came through that way and never again. This way looks much better, looks more like Stonehenge, the Drove. Whereas this way you had to go right downhill and then right uphill through massive puddles that were like half the depth of the wheel. And then the belt started squeaking because it got wet and stuff, so yeah. But fun first off-roading trip in Rose. And yeah, the burner's doing great, the insulation's great, everything is working out really, and I'm well happy. She's doing well, she got me here. It was like a 50-mile trip, 45 miles I think, and now we got an 80-mile trip today, so exciting times. I'll catch you guys.
Bye.